Merry Christmas Eve, everybody, and welcome back to the Vortex Nation podcast. Guys, last year we did a similar podcast where we solicited questions from our listeners, kind of a Q&A.
Yeah.
AMA, ask me anything. I think that's what they say on the Reddits, right?
Oh, yeah,
Jim?
very good reference.
Yes, thank you. We've done it again. We've done it, everybody. And we got a lot of really good questions here. I've perused many of them.
How did you print this? Looks like it was printed on your phone when you were at about 34% battery.
That could be me.
9:27 this morning.
You know, a lot of people like to talk down about the printing. It is an art, and I actually had a little help from over there.
I don't doubt that.
Catherine got the questions, I think, via Instagram, I believe that is on there somewhere. Then she screenshotted them, airdropped them to my phone. You got to go into settings, and then, anyway. I then wanted to print them because I wanted to be able to highlight, because we've got some duplicates in here and things like that.
No, yeah, it works when you have 17 pieces of paper to shuffle through instead of just scrolling through your phone.
Yeah, I needed to highlight because of the duplicates. Did it?
Why the negativity? It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had to switch it to portrait and then fit to page.
Good, yeah. No,
and here they are. Look at that.
Very fit to the page.
We got them, everybody. So there's more to printing than meets
Did
the
you
eye.
adjust the margins? You got a little cut off there.
Just fit to page. And it.
Let's begin.
Honestly, I think that the whatever program this is, they could work on their fit to page. Like you said, it is a little bit cut off at the bottom.
Show us your chart.
I also brought a printout today, Mark.
Oh, Merry Christmas to us.
Because this is a customer engagement piece.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Some behind-the-scenes action has occurred here. We put a little nugget, if you will, a little hidden present under the Christmas tree, kind of with your name on it. I'm not going to tell you who orchestrated this, but we pinned a comment in the most recent video that we had launched. Happened to be Mark's customized Tikka T3 300 Wisdom.
Should I be nervous right now?
No, not at all. So we pinned a comment in there. It's 10 likes and Mark gets a suppressor.
Oh no!
Parentheses S. At the time that I viewed this last night, this was live updated here.
Was this your comment? Did you pin your own comment?
I don't have a YouTube account, so I can't
Ryan
add
doesn't
that.
know how to make a comment.
No, not at all. We actually had more likes than comments on the video. There was 240 likes on the pinned comment. 10 likes and Mark gets a suppressor.
Is that a suppressor for every 10 likes? So 20 suppressors? Oh, wait, how many? It was
240 likes.
24 suppressors,
24
Mark.
suppressors.
Let's go.
For the 12.
That's 2 a month.
I'm never going to financially recover from this.
All I'm saying, Mark, is that we left it up to our constituents, our viewership, our friends, our family that is the Vortex Nation, to tell us what they want for this Christmas season. 240 people went out of their way.
They took the time.
To take the time. Number one, they found that pinned comment on that video about your rifle. I also saw other comments. I don't generally read them. And people were saying, like, once you go with a suppressed barrel or a suppressed firearm, you'll never not. And that needs a suppressor. Emphasis on needs.
That's a totally different
Food
saying.
is expensive and life is hard. Do you know how many calories it took people to scroll down and click on that like button? They expended
Several
energy
to
for
many.
you.
So let this be a call to action for you, Mark Allen Boardman. 240 of your fans, of your followers, of our people, our brothers and sisters, demand.
24 cans.
James and I gave you a year last year.
We gave you a year the year prior.
I feel like this is another intervention.
This is a demand.
The people have spoken. They're right. I know they're right. They're right. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
No problem. You can hold on to that.
I'll keep that.
Yep.
Proceed.
Keep the receipts.
Are you guys ready for the questions?
Yeah. You're going to ask yourself your own questions? Hot. Yeah, we should go.
Well, so I was talking to Reiner, like a lot of these questions, we got some technical questions, some more casual questions. It's not like, most of them I'd say aren't like, well, what's your take? It's like, we'll ask the question and it'll be like a little mini podcast per question.
Good.
If that makes sense. I shouldn't say that if that makes sense, because that's like implying like, I don't like the way that sounds. Did I explain that correctly? Is kind of what I mean.
I'm tracking.
You know what I mean? Anyway.
I know that you know that I know.
Make it disappear.
Sorry. All right, question 1. This one actually comes from a friend of ours, Mr. Sam Soholt.
Oh.
It's a good question. If clothes are all different colors, why is lint always like a bluish gray color? I don't have the answer to that question. It's kind of got me a little bit twisted up.
I have an answer.
Okay, yeah, let's hear your answer.
So if we looked at an amalgamation of garments in the tumble cycle of the dryer, and you were to extract a single thread, unless it was like a scarlet red color, something extremely bold, that thread by itself contains such a minuscule amount of dye that individually it looks nearly translucent, if only just slightly gray. Subject it to heat, and it probably lessens the intensity of that dye as an individual thread relative to the entire garment. So like if we were to throw a pair of blue jeans through the wash and we were to wash that indefinitely, like 1,000 cycles, they'll fade, they'll get lighter. The dyes will leach. The thread by itself leaches.
More surface area.
Yeah. And likely resultant from the heat alone. When they become trapped in the lint trap, the remnant that you're left with is perhaps just this vestigial whisper of color. And it's like a gray blue.
Yeah, but he's talking about when you like pull it out of your pocket though, and it's in a bunch. You know, like that's a larger colony of little fibers that have formed. And
he's talking about
I disagree. I think he's
gray.
talking lint trap.
Yeah,
lint trap.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't pulled lint out of your pocket in a while, and noticed that it's also grayish blue.
It is, but my jeans are also that color too. Like my pants are generally jeans.
Well, okay.
What color are your pants right now?
They're like a olive.
Get us a little
gray.
lint. We've already spent probably too much time on this.
My thought is.
All right, come back next week, everybody, when we've answered question 2.
Wow. I don't need
the
the
inside
negativity.
of my pockets are white, despite the. Well, my thought is, a lot of stuff's made out of cotton, right? Cotton comes out of the ground in like a grayish, whitish color, right? I think actually cotton is being forced against its will to be garments that it doesn't want to be in colors that it doesn't want to be. And when it finally relinquishes itself from the clutches of that garment, it returns back to its natural, uninhibited state. What we're seeing is a return to equilibrium. There you have it.
That's profound. Mark.
Next question.
Does the earth spin around the lint, or does the lint spin around the earth?
Lint earthers. That's the next.
Gentlemen,
big kick.
I give you both extra credit for the depth to which you described your hypothesis of why this phenomena is.
Phenomena. Do 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 do.
Question 2, Ryan.
Yep.
I'd say this one's. Wait. Yeah, I think it's more for you. Was anybody successful in harvesting a deer with their 6-arc, and how did it perform?
Yeah, that's a Ryan question.
The answer is yes. I shot a large doe. Wisconsin's very robust CWD testing program tells me she was 3 years of age, so mature animal. I don't have a weight on her, but she was big. She was grande.
Oh, yeah. Big deer. Good size deer.
So I'll give you the details to the shot. 236 yards, slight quarter off, broadside, of course. 95 grain Barnes LRX, launch velocity of 2320. Impact, I'd have to count the ribs again. I think it was like the second from the last rib. I've actually got a picture. I can't leave well enough alone. I'm sorry.
It's true, you can't.
I thought it was like mid-ribs.
No, just one moment, Mark.
Yeah.
Anyway, long and short, is rear rib panel impact. The bullet traversed the entirety of the body cavity, left about 4th rib from clavicle, just behind the shoulder. Absolutely crushed her. She made it 10 to 15 yards, collapsed. Shot her suppressed. She was with 3 other deer. They acted as if nothing had happened about 30 seconds after the shot. I contemplated taking a second. I didn't.
It was fascinating to see what a 6-ARC could do.
When we butchered her, I was impressed, and the terminal performance that was visible, including just like bloodshot and the holes themselves, like the exit hole, exceeded my expectations for what that little 6mm 95 grain bullet would have done.
Definitely.
Counting here. From floating rib, 2nd.
Which one is that?
The floating rib is the last rib, and it's not connected to anything. So here's the floating rib.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1, 2. So that's pretty far back, forward of the diaphragm, but only by the width of 1 rib. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th rib back. So fairly lengthy traversing of the body cavity.
Mm-hmm. That's a good photo.
Yeah, outstanding terminal performance. I was very pleased.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I was sold.
Good.
Let's see here. We'll just go to page 2.
There's a lot of things on that page.
Oh, I should be calling out the people who said it. I highlighted a bunch.
There's a lot of highlights on there.
This one's from Norwegian Gunslinger. And this is something that I don't have a lot of experience with, Ryan, but I'm just going to make an assumption that you do. Repeatability on QD optic mounts. Are they 100% reliable, or which is like the best one?
Sure. So I've done a little testing on this. We, over the years, have had a number of QD offerings in our line, and there's a couple pieces contingent for success. The biggest one is, does the latch mechanism apply consistent torque or clamp closure to the rail or whatever interface of mount that we're using? And so if you have one that's variable, and there are some out there that are variable, you'll appreciate repeatability. One of the more impressive mounts that I've tried before was made by Bobro. We actually carried that for a while, and that one's repeatability was exceptional. Recently, I've picked up a German-Austrian built rifle that employs a novel QD solution. I haven't tested it yet. I've watched a lot of videos on it and how that mount system works. It's again a cam system. It's these very, very neat little mechanisms, and it's basically same hole repeatability. It's a Blaser mount, which is really cool.
We were talking about, I think, just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and then you had me watch some of those videos. Like, hey, watch this, and I was like, it really is absolutely incredible how repeatable these are.
Things that will help, regardless of what mount that you have, if you're at least trying to get close, is indexing it into the same rail slots that you had it when you took it off, and to the same torque level essentially that you had it on. So if you made adjustments to the tightening nut or whatever it is, then that may affect some things. And then of course if your scope is mounted in the rings properly and it's a good set of rings. So yeah, if you maintain everything consistency or wise that you possibly can, it will help.
Good question.
All right, guys. If you ask Santa for the perfect rifle for Christmas, which rifle would he give you?
I feel like my answer changes like every week based on whatever cartridge talk we've had. I still want a Ruger number 1 and 6.5 bitch cat.
Wow.
That's easy. It's a Steyr 1903 Mannlicher Schoenauer.
You know what? Because this is fantasy world, I'm going to get something that I'd never otherwise get.
Okay.
And I'm getting maybe
nice,
like a Purdy double rifle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That came from Jacob _D52. This one comes from
D52. What do you think that stands for? CRAPP
4. Is Mayonnaise an instrument?
Oh, my man. Do you know where that comes from?
I say yes. No.
Do you know where that comes from?
Not at all.
My friend has just quoted Patrick Starr from the SpongeBob
No way.
Bubble Bowl episode, Band Geeks.
He did that for you.
He did. That was for me, and I appreciate it. Who was that? Crap 4?
That's Crap 4.
Oh, my gosh. Did we just become best friends? Yes.
You have made Jim's day.
So I...
No, Patrick, horseradish is not an instrument either. That would be the next quote, logically, in that sequence.
I thought it was, like a voice text, meant to say condiment and, whatever.
Nope.
Okay, I guess it's not.
I'm so happy about that.
News to me. No, this is kind of... Ryan 19.sims. If you bought a new wood-stocked rifle today, what would it be and why?
New isn't produced now, or new to me, or a big distinguisher.
I think they're probably getting at it as in produced now. That would be my guess. Would it not be yours, Mark?
Park West Arms SD10. I want it chambered in 280, 7x65, 7x57R. Yeah.
So it has to be a 7.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yep.
Jim, anything?
And it's just a wood-stocked
rifle, yeah.
I don't know. I'd just be it's produced now. I'm just like a CZ. You know? What are they? I mean,
600 Alpha.
600, yeah.
Or not the Alpha. The Alpha, it's just the 600.
Yeah.
Cool gun. Very novel.
I think they're nice.
Yep. They got wood bolt handle.
Mark?
I'm probably just going with, maybe it's not produced now. You could still get your hands on one. Probably like a Browning.
Naturally.
A-bolt Hunter.
That's
I know it's not produced now.
The stipulation for me is it had to be a modern produced firearm.
True. We did put that stipulation on him.
Fine. An X-bolt in 375 H&H.
Okay. Oh.
And then I'm going to take to Africa and probably just actually hunt plains game with it. But I just feel like if you go to Africa, you should be shooting a 375 H&H.
Oh, actually, you know what I might get? I might finally go out and get that 7mm 08 Browning BLR that you told me not to get.
You've been enjoying the 308.
I know. I love it. Just always wanted a 708.
Okay, Ryan, are you sure you can't leave? Why? Ryan's alias, Jameson.Wilcox. Why can't we have more cartridge talks? Bring on the lead balloons.
I have several hypotheses on why we don't have more cartridge talks, none of which I can share in front of Mark Boardman. Hit me up, I'll tell you why.
You can share them in front of me, Ryan.
I can.
Well, I see your comment, Ryan, and I raise you the fact that this is Christmas Eve. And starting the day after Christmas is the Holiday Cartridge Talks series.
Very nice.
So, happy holidays, because you're going to have a constant stream of Holiday Cartridge Talks coming up here very shortly. And in amongst these cartridge talks are several lead balloons. At least a couple.
A marketing genius, this man. Hey, related to that, Nick Billman here asked 3040 Craig cartridge talk, please. I thought, did we not already talk about the 3040 Craig quite a bit at some point?
We've mentioned it.
It was discussed. I just can't remember what podcast it was, and I remember we talked about it at least a good bit, but maybe we referred to it in...
Was that the Lever Guns? Was that the Lever Guns Pure Americana podcast?
Was it a parent cartridge to something that we talked about, perhaps?
No. We talked about it in the Historical Military Arms podcast.
That's right.
And then on old metallic cartridges of yore and novel weapon designs, just in passing.
Okay. Well, all right.
Great question.
J. Matz asks, what is the most beautiful cartridge and why is it the 416 Rigby?
That is a handsome cartridge. Proportionally, it is very aesthetically pleasing. A lovely round, well thought out. That's a good question. Are there others that are as aesthetically pleasing as the 416 Rigby? Man, alive, that's a good one. It's kind of got everything.
What do you like about
Got
it?
it all.
One, it comes in really cool rifles.
Yeah.
Two,
Not
Is that what I should get my double rifle in?
You'd want 416 flanged or 450, 400.
Okay.
Yeah. 375 flanged should be fine too. 470 nitro be good. 450 nitro.
I was thinking actually 470 nitro.
Yeah, it's plenty.
What do you think about AR-10s for long-range shooting, particularly the Ruger SFAR?
SFAR, really interesting design, and was a kind of an adaptation of the DPMS G2, which I had quite a bit of hands-on experience with from inception, like the actual drawing of that product to market. And it is what the AR-10 should be, in my opinion. Because right now, like you're gonna lump them into two categories. You're gonna lump them into
the AR-10 so weird.
Yeah, for no reason. It's this unusual bastard, and so
It should be so simple.
Yeah, we have like SR25 pattern. Well, there's actually three: SR25, the weird middle ground, and then what I think is a very compelling argument: this short frame 308 or the G2 pattern or the SFAR. That's what it should be. That is what, moving forward, everybody who makes a 30, a 6.5, a 260, anything that fits the SR25 magazine, that is what should be adopted, and that should be made an industry standard. Good question, though. Assuming that the summation of parts is good, the only problem that you deal with is bleeding of velocity. So a contemporary bolt gun will provide you with a little bit higher MV just because it doesn't have a gas system. You can compensate for that with good projectile design or load practices, etc. And fast follow-up shots. I mean, there's a reason why the system is deployed for such things.
Can I tell you this question?
Please.
And this would be more for, I would say, medium game to predators, right? You just killed that deer very handily with a 6-arc at, I would say, medium, 230 yards. You could push it out even further than that.
Yes.
Performed quite handily with your 6 arcs, with your 22 arcs.
Are you suggesting why bother with the large frame?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question, Mark.
You of all people asking that question.
Yeah.
Why get more?
I'm saying now. I don't know if this person's thinking elk. I don't know what they're thinking here. But
They did specify hunting though.
Oh no, actually they said long range shooting.
Yeah, they just said long range shooting.
Oh my gosh, long range shooting. That's an easy answer then. I wouldn't.
Different strokes for different folks, Mark.
Yeah.
A 175 grain projectile is different than a 90 grain projectile, and maybe you've got a Buick on the range.
That's true. We don't know.
It's always the Buicks. I wonder if they ever take those 3600s out of there.
That was Jaden Kirk Lee.
You can shoot them and they still work.
That's true. That's true.
Kind of a fast follow.
Yeah.
Which the AR platform gives you. Would you hunt Western big game with an AR platform, and what caliber setup are you taking?
Man, I've had thoughts about this a lot.
For me, it's a goofy platform to carry. Like when I did a lot of predator hunting, at the end I transitioned to a bolt gun. But especially like Western predator hunting, like when I'm calling coyotes on large tracts of land and I'm getting multiple coyotes coming from different directions, there's a ton of utility in the AR. The fast follow-up is really quite handy. But they suck to carry.
Yeah, that's the problem with them.
And I feel that with chassis guns too.
Yeah, very much. Like, the ideal tool to carry with you when you're out walking around to go shoot something is a stick.
Yep.
And you don't want a bunch of extra branches sticking off that stick.
Correct. Yes. But would I suppose, I've often thought, remembering the Bushmaster Carbon 15 series, and this is not the same thing, but I was always enamored with how lightweight they made that rifle. And they used absolutely minimum scaled parts to pull it off. And I thought to myself, it would be a fun project to build the lightest big game capable AR I could, because now, since I used to occupy that airspace, I have landed and kind of want to take off in it again. We've come up with wildly better ways to integrate, products like carbon fiber into the design elements of an AR. And you can make some really cool, interesting, attractive designs. And yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to do. 308, right? The answer is just 308.
I made a super light AR once. I hated it.
Why?
It just wasn't right.
Interesting.
I don't know. Nothing was ever right about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hunt Western big game with an AR. I mean, they can be incredibly accurate.
Oh, yeah.
You can get them in cartridges suitable for just about anything you want to try and take down.
I know people that do it.
Aesthetically, for whatever reason, for like big game hunting,
Yeah.
like I just prefer the lines, fit, finish, and feel, and how they carry of a bolt gun.
Yes.
There you go. But not to say that it is not incredibly capable of doing the job.
He took two in that. You see that?
I did. AR on a deer drive? Awesome.
Thank you. Why didn't you say, "Oh, Mark, I think you have an extra page there"?
That's kind of what he did.
Venom 3. Okay. Cedric Martin 94. Venom 3-15 by 44 versus Strike Eagle 3-18 by 44. Should we use the dollars difference on the scope or in ammo?
Mm-hmm. My answer is application dependent. If you're hanging out on a flat range and this is like your NRL 22 gun or your recreational steel gun, get the Venom. Point blank. Save the money for the ammo. If you're going to hunt with it, though, the Strike Eagle has lift to unlock turrets. And that is an invaluable tool. I will tell you from experience, inadvertent turret rotation due to contact on whatever thing contacts your turrets and inadvertently rotates them is a frustrating thing to navigate.
Yes. The Venom does make up for it with the rev stop zero system, at least.
Very true.
You do at least have that. However, it takes an extra little increment of time if you did bump it off to then index your zero and go back. So, totally agree. But that is one nice thing. I recall when we had the Diamondback Tacticals before they had any sort of rev stop zero system, we took them to the Vortex Extreme, and I had to use the
You went really old school.
I went with the actual limit stop instead of the zero stop to figure out where I was.
It worked.
It did. It worked famously.
I don't know. I mean, that's actually a tough question for me, and I can see why Cedric is struggling with it. I've run the 3-18 by 44. I do love lift and lock turrets. The optics in it were phenomenal. I don't know.
I just pair it with what Ryan said.
Yeah. The Sup _ Castaway. Ryan, we watched that.
We have.
Wilson.
What is the best zeroing distance for the Defender when using it on top of the Spitfire 5X?
I'll quote my friend Adam Maxwell because he has more experience in this place. 50 yards.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good.
I don't see why not.
Yep.
It makes perfect sense to me.
Yep.
Okay.
That was easy.
Be the Wild, sunglasses or not when hunting?
Mark, that's your question right there.
Oh, I have the answer.
Uh-huh.
You're a yes? You're saying yes? Jim? No. By and large, there would be exceptions, but I'm going to say no. When I was hunting early August this fall, we definitely had some sunny conditions. It was a backpack hunt, and I elected not to take sunglasses. I knew we'd be glassing a lot. I don't really like glassing with sunglasses on. And I also knew I would lose them at some point, or put them in a pocket, sit on them, break them, and then I wouldn't have them for like the drive back. So yeah, left them in the truck.
That's why I have 2 pairs of sunglasses, one for wearing, one for staring through when I'm driving on the windshield. And I use one of them little things that keeps it from falling off my face or my body.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call.
I have sunglasses. I have elected to stop using them unless absolutely necessary.
It's training his eyes.
I'm training my eyes. That's pretty much exactly what I'm doing.
15 minutes a day, Jim goes into the shop and welds with no hood.
Yep. The migraines are incredible, but no, that's what I've opted to do. But I find that if you go without them unless absolutely necessary, then when you don't have them and you're in a pinch, I used to wear them all the time, like every time I went outside.
Right.
And then it was like if you'd be without them, you're like, like you're a vampire who just emerged from,
right.
But now when I only do it sparingly, it's like, oh, I forgot them, whatever.
Yeah. I saw a thing, I was listening to a thing the other day, they were talking about like how for like just like overall health, like how important, like get up in the morning, be outside, move your body,
Tabata.
And get your
this guy
be in like how important the sun is.
Yeah, vitamin D.
Yeah, but like also I think to like
your
receiving it through your eyes.
Yeah, your eyes absorb a lot.
So I think there's some merit to that for sure.
Vortex sunglasses, some of the best out there.
Would you take sunglasses on a hunt? No. Oh yeah, I quit wearing sunglasses. Get your Vortex sunglasses.
I said I still have sunglasses. I still use them. We went down
I'm
to
just saying,
I wasn't going to be on the beach in Florida this summer with the family, on the family vacation without them. Oh.
I was wearing mine just yesterday. Personal question. Give it to me, Jim. Give me the inflection.
Show us your charts. Personal story.
Oh, that's right. Personal story, not personal question. Personal story. Abasha.95. Long range hunting, 500 plus yards. Where's the line? Can't see the line, can you, Russ? It's kind of a holiday.
That's a.
Will regs get introduced? I don't think they will. How would
that's
you?
A whole
there would be no way.
Mess. So much mess.
It's not
involved
even
with that question.
It's a personal question.
Yeah. Well, it is, but it's like with that question, they had so much space to write it.
Right.
But there's so many different ways that you could go. Who are you? What are you shooting? What are you zeroed at? What equipment do you have? What's the end? I mean, like so much.
Right.
So.
Like so many of our answers, that depends. And it depends on all those things and more that you just mentioned. Yeah. What are the conditions? What are everything? All the things.
What is the everything?
I mean, there's, like conditions. Like there's shots I'd take on a dead calm day that I'm not going to take with even a 10 mile an hour cross,
Yeah.
Ryan, what are your thoughts?
My personal limit exists at the limit of function of the projectile that I'm firing, layered onto the conditions, onto the position, onto the angle of attack.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's actually 3 things. It's like a 3-part rule. Do I have the position? Do I have the condition? Do I have the angle of attack? I'm taking my ballistic performance into the equation without those 3 things. And that's like a dead stop anyway.
Yeah. I'll say that, as is usually the case with any time you try to put a regulation on something, it's people think that they're trying to put a regulation on something and they have at least decent intentions of doing so, but you ruin so many unique scenarios by doing that because you can't possibly regulate every potential scenario that could possibly exist. That it wouldn't make any sense. Like if you drew a line at 500 yards, it's like, I mean, there's so many instances where with the right equipment in the right scenario, you could absolutely zerp something dead at 650. I mean, plus.
Right.
I mean, it's like,
And I'd say, like, because you've taken the time to perfect your craft, like, you've worked hard on your hunt in a different way than somebody who hasn't taken the time to do that and isn't equal. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just give and take. It's like, where are you?
I will say, conversationally and psychologically speaking, it seems as though there is a line in the communal sand at about 500 yards where it starts getting awkward to talk about unless people know who you are. You know what I mean? Like, if I know you guys, and if you're like, oh, I took a deer at 560 or 720 or something like that, I'd be like, sick, dude.
Right.
But if you just put that out into the cosmos and other people hear it, they're gonna be all mad about it. You know. But if you said you did it at like 480, they, like, boom, suddenly significantly less.
Yeah.
Right.
Then it's wow.
Oh, well, that's a long shot, but nice work. It's weird. I don't know what that's all about.
I think some of that comes from just a level of familiarity with the tools and equipment that we have at our disposal these days.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Cool. I'm moving on to the next one. You know what's interesting? For me personally, I'm coming up with the same answer for a lot of these. In your guys' opinion, what is the best dual threat varmint and whitetail caliber and why?
6 arc.
243 Winchester.
I was going to say 6 arc too, but you're not wrong with the 243.
Yeah, 243. I have to take into the equation historical rifles, ammunition availability, factory loadings, of course. The hand loader can do a lot of things with a lot of things, and handily, right? But 243, actually I'd make the argument towards 6.5 Creedmoor as well.
Sure,
because it's not undue for coyotes, and with the right bullet, if you're a pelt hunter, you can appreciate that cartridge pretty well. But 243 is a conventional, or 6.5 Creedmoor.
6.5 Creed has become so boring now. But the last couple of years I've shot, I don't know, I can't remember how many deer. You know, it's not like a ton of deer, but like I've shot a number of deer now with a 6.5 Creedmoor, and I've done it basically just kind of like, nope, there's the deer, put the yep, and dead, falls down dead.
Because we're throwing deer in the equation, I'm going 6.5 Creed.
I understand.
Makes sense.
That's good.
And when you're talking about, and when you bring up the things like ammo options, ammo availability, 6.5 Creed has that in spades.
Yeah.
That came from, you'd like this, Ryan. That came from Minnesota_Raptor. Shout out to Minnesota.
They are among us.
Sandals_ and Serpents. When is Ryan going to take a 270 hunting? You have one now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
October of a couple months ago.
But that's not what you shot your critters with.
It's not. I had every intention to do so, and then one of the members of the party, it got Western. So we had a situation in which we had some pronghorn. He's typically a handgun hunter, and he did not bring a long gun on the trip. And so he and I had some tags to fill, and I said, well, I've got an extra long gun. And I handed him a 27-06, and he ended up taking a fantastic doe pronghorn at about 300 on the nose. It's his first time, I believe, taking a big game animal with a Barnes tip triple shock as well.
Oh, cool.
It was very nice.
So you took the rifle and it did take a crit.
It did. It's been blooded. In fact, I was in my safe.
Why are you checking my work over here?
I was in my safe this morning,
and
it still has the red dirt of Wyoming that calls me back every year on it.
You love that place.
Yes, I do.
It really is a. It really is a.
Road.
It's a don't miss hunt that I miss every year because I do something else.
Hey, the good news is you got 27 pronghorn points. For this. You could
use them. I was going to use them, then I did a different hunt, and a lot of them died. Winter 23. That was a rough one in a lot of spots. I know.
And 22 and 21.
Okay. Boy, this is kind of a tough one. Real_Snowman.
Frosty?
Norway West Coast red stag deer or northern Sweden moose hunt, and what would be your picks and why?
For me personally, it's the moose hunt. Oh God, that's tough because I'm Norwegian. My people are from there, so there's like a heritage component to this. And stag are neat, but moose are the largest cervid, and so that's compelling. I'd love to do it over Spitzhuns with a 6.5 by 55 Swede.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't really care what it is. It could be an old Gustav that's been sporterized. It could be a new Tikka or Sako or what. It doesn't matter. I'd like to do it with the traditional cartridge.
In my personal, research, readings, things like that, when I think of red stag, I think of New Zealand. I predominantly think of New Zealand and the Scottish Highlands.
Sure.
Because I'm half Swede, 50%. And I've never been back to the motherland. And because I think moose are awesome. And as of late, I don't know why, I never had like a strong interest in like seeing Sweden. And maybe it's just because I've seen like, been kind of looking into it a little bit lately and seen like pictures of it. It looks really cool. I'm going with the moose hunt.
Norway, though, you want to talk about an ecologically diverse country. They got it all.
I've seen pictures of Norway too.
The
it's
cliffs,
awesome.
The cliffs, the fjords, the forests.
Yes.
All of it.
Oh man.
It's like Narnia.
Real snowman, that's a tough question. Jim, thoughts?
Oh, I have no thoughts. If I went to any of those countries, it would be for the driving and culture.
Yeah.
We all three go. Jim's like, all right, guys. See ya.
I saw Harry's Garage drove a Rolls Royce. I believe it was a Silver Shadow to the Arctic Circle in Norway or via Norway or something like that. And I thought it was fascinating, and I want to do the same.
With the Royce as well?
I don't know, just an old car that's notoriously thought of as unreliable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, those are two beautiful places, though. I'd be going as much for the place.
Yeah.
Like, usually, like, when I go hunting, I'm like, I'm trying to get one, you know? And I am enjoying the place. But I think the weight would be heavy on seeing the place.
Yeah.
The question is, do they want us there?
I don't know. GSC 53. Thoughts on kids' guns for whitetail. Too young to carry it alone. So I went super heavy, 16 pounds to reduce recoil.
Huh.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah, it's not.
However, we had this conversation about BB guns, about how sometimes they inspire complacency.
Sure.
And I could make an argument for like, well, I can't carry the gun, but Dad can set it all up for me, or Mom can set it all up for me, and I just pull the trigger.
Depending on age, that might be what needs to happen.
That could be, and I'm not trying to dogpile that answer. I think that's a good play, right? Kid's going to get confidence because the child will not be rattled by the rigors of recoil. But I also think that giving some ownership, depending again on the age of the kid and capabilities of the kid, and everybody's kid's different, right? Giving some ownership of that system to the youngster is very much so a part of that process. And there are ways to mitigate recoil significantly. A 16-pound 6-dasher is not going to have recoil at all.
Right.
So that's one way to do it. But a suppressor, a brake, something like a gas gun, make it a very tolerable situation. Yeah,
and we don't know the cartridge here.
Yeah,
either,
I mean,
right?
it's absolutely a spectacularly viable solution.
I think the biggest thing isn't recoil so much. Now, too much recoil, and yeah, you're going to ruin the experience. But all guns do something when you fire them. But the biggest one, in my opinion, is the noise.
Yeah,
I think noise alone can influence someone's experience shooting a gun, especially young folks. You could shoot a gun that didn't recoil very much at all, but if it was extremely loud, they'd be like, whoa, that was a lot to handle.
I saw that in a video one time. A gentleman shot an AR-15 and just...
yeah. But, dude, I mean, the 6-ARC...
Yeah.
You could do a lightweight gun with a can on it. It's not going to make any noise. It's not going to recoil at all. And then, potentially, again, depending on the age, a kid could possibly carry that. I mean, if you're talking about, really young, then... yeah, maybe you're carrying that as well, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong. I mean, if you set a kid up who is very young and petite, and you set him up with a big gun on a tripod, and you're in a blind, and they get the chance to hang out with mom and/or dad and shoot a deer, and then go through the process of gutting it out. Absolutely,
it's a win.
Zero qualms with that.
Yeah,
no problemo, and it's a good intro. And then the next year, maybe they carry a gun out.
I think it's a progression, and the key is let's have a positive experience. Let's not develop bad habits. Let's not make you scared of this thing the next time you go to pull the trigger. My thoughts immediately went to an AR in 6-ARC.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe have an ARC rail on the bottom.
Yep.
Put it in a tripod. Obviously, the stock's going to be very customizable, so length of pull, you're going to be able to manage that.
It all plays.
It all plays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went that route, though, that this listener did with tractors and a 6-year-old. I didn't put him on a lawn tractor. I got him in the 6145R, and I just said, go forward. It'll be slow, but if you hit anything, at least you'll destroy it. We won't get stuck.
And?
We didn't hit anything.
Everybody had a good day.
Yeah.
Damn it, _David96. Jim?
What?
It's a 96.
Thank you.
Oh, man. It's a new car. It's a 96.
I'll answer this one. When are you guys going to have a 357 cartridge talk? I caught the 357 maximum, but ... Really good question. The answer is yes, but we're saving it for a very special guest/occasion, and we haven't been able to line that up yet. There, that's what it's coming. I don't know when.
Great.
There we go.
Having been through that with Mark and lead balloons, the answer was 794 days. Next question.
Oh, okay. So now we have an exact number. M Hall Football. What is the best way to manage recoil in hunting scenarios?
That's a great question.
I'm kind of like, I don't know. You just do.
Depends on the scenario, I guess. Are you shooting off a pack? You're shooting out of a blind?
Well, and that's a very big piece of this answer. So we do this hunter sighting thing here every year at Vortex, where we have folks come out, they get their rifles zeroed for the upcoming first Christmas of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Firearms Opener. And the biggest challenge that I see folks have on the bench, and this is putting groups together, managing recoil, kind of the whole kit and bag, is simply understanding how to approach and handle the firearm. If that makes sense. Like, firearm is on the bench, knowing how to get behind it and manipulate the gun into the position. And I think really what it is like, if you don't handle that firearm a lot, like if it's your deer gun and you're the recreational hunter and the 9-day gun season's about the amount of time that you're going to spend in the field a year, it's probably not going to happen overnight. But the answer or the trick to mitigating or managing recoil in infield positions, which vary, right? As you mentioned, packs, prone, kneeling, seated, standing, left-handed, whatever they are, is intimate familiarity with the mechanism itself, the geometry of the gun, and knowing how to present arms and bring it to the shoulder. And James.
Finish your sentence. You can't stop when and.
It's an honor thing. I can't
well,
help
and
it.
also,
it's just I have the next point.
Okay. I would have done the same. For those not watching, Jim raised his hand. I take that as can I stop you right there because I have something to add right now?
This is a courtesy. If I raise my hand, You've said something that triggered something in my mind, and I will remember it. But it's also, by me not interjecting, it means you should finish what you're saying, though, or else I would have just blurted it out.
I don't work that way.
What do you got, Jim?
Now I'm the a-hole.
I'm the a-hole.
No.
Yesterday you scolded me for this.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I was just going to say, I wish you would have finished what you were saying. I liked what you were saying. I thought it was excellent. I was going to throw in Vortex Edge offers a hunter marksmanship course every year, and it's phenomenal. It gets at exactly what you were just describing in getting intimately familiar with your firearm in a number of different shooting scenarios, and those guys with their background are phenomenal at shooting position, natural point of aim, managing recoil, so on and so forth. So would highly suggest. Now, Ryan, please.
Can I throw something out there?
Oh, yeah.
If you are recoil sensitive, there are so many good cartridges that are incredibly capable. Bullet technology is such these days. Get like a 6.5 Creedmoor or something. It's likely going to do what you need it to do.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're going to be able to drive the rifle, really well. And so that's one way to do it.
Yes.
I don't know what their application is, though.
Right, I'm so sorry. Now I feel like
Jim, it's not something. No,
it's going to ruin my day.
It's not. I hope not.
Paul Mead says Scout Scope versus LPVO. I think, to me, do you have a Scout rifle? Get a Scout Scope. Scout Scope versus LPVO.
Oh, yeah.
We did talk about this somewhat at length in the Modern Scout podcast.
Yes,
right.
We did.
In which
but the Modern Scout rifle wasn't a Scout rifle.
It was not, no. But what we had, I believe, collectively arrived...
Or what we defined as, I should say, not what is.
What we collectively arrived at was that the LPVO is the Modern Scout
yes.
optic. I think that there's some romance behind the Scout type optic with the extended eye relief and the whole Colonel Cooper mentality behind what the Scout represents. It's a cool thing. Is it a practical thing? That's a very debatable topic. If I had my pick, it's an LPVO. Mark.
The idea of what Colonel Cooper was trying to accomplish was the right thing.
Yes.
I don't think that the Scout rifle accomplished it.
His solution, though, was based on the technology at the time. And the technology at the time did not provide a traditional, we'll call it shorter eye relief optic that gave them the similar heads-up feel and situational awareness and overall, like, what's the word? Like, periphery view that you would need that he was going for. But now we have that.
I mean,
with LPVOs.
I agree with you, and I know what you're saying. I still don't know if it worked.
I'd be curious if Colonel Cooper came up with his idea 5 decades earlier. It was like 80s, right?
Yeah. Where would we be?
No, I just wonder if the Scout rifle was never really fielded in any major capacity.
No.
Like he came out with that after we were right on the cusp of things starting to at least get better.
Yeah.
Like if he came out with that, if that was sort of developed.
You know who had that?
Well, actually, somebody did have that. Wasn't it the Germans?
They did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
they didn't win.
That's right. That's right. Orange sights.
Op them. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say something that didn't. Michael _Ellis, 45 or 50 cal muzzleloader.
We actually had this conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
We had it in a podcast too, I think.
Good friends, Slingin' Rick, Eric Barber, and I don't think Graham's ever been on the podcast, nor should he be.
I think he has.
Scrub it. Hope he listens to
Maybe
this.
not. I don't know.
Didn't perform well.
Yeah. Graham needs a muzzleloader, so he's actually borrowing my smokeless rig.
Yeah, he's starting off big time.
And Eric is looking to revamp his Encore, which unfortunately succumbed to a little bit of pelletized powder corrosion.
Pellet wear.
Pellet wear, yeah. It is now fossilized, basically. Despite him keeping up with it, and he did. It's just once it's too far gone, it's too far gone. And so when we were talking about one, Graham getting a muzzleloader, and two, Rick kind of resurrecting his Encore, the question was posed, 50 or 45. And I said, well, we have to look at the hunts that are available for you in muzzleloader only time periods, seasons. And a big one would be like Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be a 1/2-inch gun.
That's true.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I argue between 45 and 50, if you're staying in a modern inline, and I'm not talking about a smokeless. I'm not even necessarily talking about guns like the Remington UML or the Paramount. I'm talking like, think CBA Acura.
The Acura MDX.
MRX.
Just kidding. That's a car.
Oh, got it. Sorry, Jim. Traditions.
I was like, why does that sound so familiar but also incorrect?
That's what I have. I got it because I can remember sort of the name.
So in that modern inline, the performance delta between a 45 and a 50, even with optics, is honestly negligible. You do appreciate a little less drop, a little less drift with a 45, but it's not, with the right loads and the right tuning, it's somewhat insignificant. If you're going into a smokeless class gun, or if you're going into a Magnum muzzleloader like a UML or like a Paramount, I can make an argument for the 45 exploiting trajectory beyond 300 yards. Mm-hmm. I was just working with a 50 UML for a buddy of mine. He went to New Mexico to hunt elk, got one, nice bull. And we were shooting at 300 with irons using a 1/2-inch gun, and fantastic, outstanding. So you can do it. I think if you have no aspirations to hunt Colorado season, a 45 is great. If you're just going to be hunting between 1 and 300 yards, anywhere else you can use a scope, it doesn't matter. Whatever's convenient and available to you. Bullet technology in both categories is great. I've got 45s and 50s. I like them all the same.
All mine have been 50. Oh, excuse me. My first muzzleloader was a 54.
Yeah.
I think that's at your house right now.
Yes, it is. Good question.
It is a good question.
Yeah.
And I could see where a person would, kind of flirt back and forth with it. They're both completely... I mean, when I think of the states that I would likely muzzleloader hunt personally, it's like, well, possibly Colorado, Washington, Utah, New Mexico,
Nebraska.
Three of those states have 1X requirements. Washington, actually, some of these states have dialed back the use of rifle scopes, like Utah. Washington actually dialed forward with the ability to use a 1X rifle scope this year, which is really cool.
Check out the Crossfire 2, 1x24 muzzleloader scope.
Pun intended.
But yeah, I've got that MRX, and it that thing shoots.
Yes,
that's what I got too. And I asked you the same question: 45 or 50?
I got the 50. Yeah, mine's 50. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Jim's checking my work once again. Okay. Jensen Alex, 18. 22 arc. Thoughts? All caps, by the way. What would you say to that, Ryan?
Did they just ask 22 arc?
Yeah. What would you guys say to that?
In the process.
In the process.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Your question
will be answered
shortly.
Yes.
Did Ryan say his thought? Sorry, I was reading. Did Ryan?
It's cool. It serves no purpose for me at this time.
That's such a lie.
Yeah, he's got a 6 arc.
I got a 6.
So do I.
He's got a 6. Question for Ryan.
Oh, what? What's new?
Like a lot of these.
What's new?
Yeah. If Ryan was going to Africa to hunt Cape buffalo, what rifle and cartridge would he use?
Very Ryan thing to do.
I kind of ponder on this a bit because the easy answer is, well, a double gun. Double guns are neat, but I've got some very dear friends of mine that are double gun guys, And this is not something that's like eluded my brain since understanding what a double rifle is. But the more they talk about regulating them, the more I realize what an absolute PETA it is.
What do you mean regulating?
So if we have 2 barrels and we want them to land our...
okay. Yeah.
So a great example is 9.3 by 74R, which is a very old cartridge, kind of an eclectic bullet diameter with some particular grain weights, 250, 286. These are your conventionals. Guns regulated for one, and ammunition availability in the United States for the other makes a real challenge. And trying to sort that out is a kind of a dipsy do, if you will. So I think a double gun is neat. I think that in today's day and age, like we think about the Scout Scope was kind of either a solution seeking a problem or a potential solution to a problem that may or may not exist. I think that is the case of the double now. It is not required for success.
No.
Especially with bullet technology, I mean, let's look at black powder express cartridges to nitro express cartridges to regular conventional, like shouldered, high pressure bottlenecked cartridges. Mm-hmm. And I guess if I was to draw the rifle, it's either a pre-64 Model 70 in 458. It is a Dakota 76 in 416 Rigby, or 458, I guess. A Weatherby DGR in 458, or 460 Weatherby, or 416 Weatherby, or 378 Weatherby. All of those will play. Or honestly, a classic, a CZ Safari classic, 375 H&H, 416 Rem Mag, 404 Jeffrey, 416 Rigby, 505 Gibbs. No, probably not. That's an impractical cartridge. I'd get a turn bolt is what I'd get. I'd probably have either a stout low-powered variable on it, or I would have done a lot of work with the irons.
Mm-hmm. You went pronghorn hunting with a high wall.
I did, yeah. I went
and you're talking about taking a turn bolt on a African Cape buffalo hunt.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel a little weird?
No.
Listen.
No.
I don't know nearly as much as you do about
double rifles
African
are hunting, so hot.
They are.
But a lot of fuss.
That's okay.
So
is there not some fuss involved with your high wall?
No, man.
There's none. Well, that's pretty cool.
First load I threw in it, money.
Well, there's that.
Now, I've never shot a double rifle. I would like to. But a consideration for me, and like you, right, when I think, like, oh, man, just the mystique and the nostalgia of, like, shooting a Cape Buffalo with a double rifle seems really cool, and it would be really cool. I also think a big consideration for me personally, what am I going to shoot the best, because this is very serious business.
Could be.
Oh, I think it's very serious business.
Buddy of mine just killed one with a bow a couple months ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I've watched a lot of videos of Cape Buffalo getting hit like what I would consider well, and they're still up, they're still tough, they're still alive.
I mean, Mark,
they're still
if you're
taking
going
more pills.
With what you shoot best, I mean, I guess you're just taking your Benelli with slugs.
I mean, it could work, I guess. I'm going with the gun that I mentioned earlier. I'm going with
a Purdy double gun.
No, a 375 H&H.
Oh yeah, yep.
With a low power variable on it.
Yep.
Like
Good play.
1 to 6 or something like
that. Good play.
And I think, like we talked about with bullet construction, I think it's enough. I think I'd be able to shoot the cartridge. I'd be able to practice with it a lot. It's not going to beat you up too bad.
Yeah.
If you do need a follow-up shot, I think you're likely to get back on target better with it.
Yep. Sure.
So those are my thoughts on that.
I have watched videos of
I don't have a buff hunt plan.
I gotta go with the double rifle.
I've watched Mark Sullivan double tap Cape Buffalo with a 600 nitro. Just
pure adrenaline.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not cool. There. Well, they asked you, and I told them anyway. Jim, please check my work. Oh yeah, here's another one. Long Goose 300. Jim, you can relax. This is for Ryan again. Would love to know the exact specs on Ryan's European-style Tikka T3.
Oh, sure.
Is that the orange one?
Yeah.
With not all orange.
Yeah. So it's kind of a dirty clone. We'll call it that. So the inspiration for the rifle was the T3 Batu, which at the time I couldn't get in the United States. I could order the sights and I could make a Batu, but the sights were like $300. And I just said, I ain't going to use them anyway. It doesn't matter. So T3X Lite, I added the orange cheek piece, orange grip panel, orange forend, orange bolt knob ball, had the barrel cut to 16.1 inches, threaded 5/8 24. Initially, the gun had a Razor 1-6 on it. I changed that over to a Viper HD 2-10. That rifle is fantastic, by the way. I just love it. Those great folks over at Tikka decided to pull the rug out from underneath me. And what did they bring to the United States of America?
I'm glad you're bringing, because I was going to say.
But the T3X Rough Tech Ranch 16-inch 308. And that is about as perfect as it gets. Dear friend of ours here picked one up. The 16-inch Tikka was an inspiration for him, so he grabbed one. That rifle is perfect. It is so nice. He and I were hunting deer the other day with it, and he had it. And
how'd you guys do?
It was very cold.
You see anything?
Not a
shoot.
The only mammalian species that we saw were squirrels. We did see, however, several flocks of swans, which was really neat. He'd never seen swans in flight.
Dude, I saw a big flock of swans the other day. Yeah.
Good thing to see.
They were on the ground.
Oh, cool.
In the field.
Yeah. But we just watching him work with that gun, the lines, it's so nice. They went with like a CTR contour barrel. It's fluted. It's got a fluted bolt knob. It's with a spiral flute. It's just very sharp looking rifle. The truth of the matter is I'm probably going to order one.
But you basically already have it.
I do, but that gun's finished. And there's something to be said for that.
You're not wrong. I mean, it's really
spiral
cool.
Flute?
It looks really good.
Yeah, I don't like spiral flute.
Jim doesn't like spiral flute.
It's an out-of-the-box option. It's not my number one either.
I'm surprised you didn't do this one at Dry Fire King. With NRL Hunter really taking off any lightweight premium options in development. You should check out the Razor LHT.
Well, he said in development.
Oh, I was assuming that maybe he wasn't aware of the Razor LHT.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
4.5 to 22 by 50 first focal plane, or the 3 to 15.
It's actually hot business in that category in NRL Hunter and NRL 22.
Razor LHT. At
Hold on, actually, let me check my own work here, Jim.
Aren't you glad that I was here?
You must have missed something, Jim. I think Mark's printouts have failed him.
So what have I got on this page?
This is number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3.
Let's keep going. Dipping back into the classics here.
That's total radio DJ. And we're dipping back into the classics here with this one.
Well, marked _ long _ hand. I'm burnt out on modern rifle aesthetics. What's an old rifle recommendation?
Let's go.
What once was old is new again. What are you guys going with?
Did he say what the use case was?
Does not. No. Okay. I'm going to assume hunting.
Yeah. Modern levers. Well, okay, no, not modern levers, because they're putting Piccadilly rails on them now.
It's a problem.
It's not for me. Classic lever guns. Truly, lever guns are coming back into vogue. There are still some outstanding deals to be had on pre-64 94s and 64s and older Marlin 336s and Model 36s.
Yeah.
And they're great. They're wonderful guns. They're very robust. They shoot good. Winchester Model 70s, they seem to kind of be coming down, like a pre-64.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong, by the way, with a post-64 Model 70. I was just having this discussion with my hunting partner the other day, talking about some builds. And those are really cool. Classic Remington 700s. I had a first-year production 700 in here the other day. It was awesome. It was so cool. It had like a 4-digit serial number, aluminum butt plate. Everything was so right with it. And the young lady, it was a gift from her grandfather. I said, "Are you sure you want to take this scope off?" Because it was a vintage rifle scope too. It was so cool. And she did. She wanted modern performance on there, and so we upped the ante without making it look goofy. And classic 700, they're much the same as they were then, but there's just something a little bit different about the early models that are neat. Winchester Model 54s, the predecessor to the Model 70. Cool guns. They still had a stripper clip guide, which I think is neat. There's not even a provision for a rear island for mounting scope, which is cool.
No milsurp stuff?
I think American Sporters are neat.
Yeah.
You run a gamble with them, though,
I mean, what about even some of the European stuff?
Sure. Yeah. Even modern European stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think, like, some of those old guns, though, I'm completely blanking because I'm jumbling all their names and letter and number designations together in my head. But
you're thinking of a K31 Swiss.
Yeah. My brother Sam got one of those, right?
Yeah. I think very recently.
He got one a long time ago.
Oh, because I
remember.
I know.
I just remember like him pulling it out, and
they're cool.
Was like
straight pull gun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lee Enfields, cool guns, and those all have very unique features and looks, and things like that. So,
yeah,
I mean, this guy just seems like he's just looking for just a cool gun. I didn't even say that. I mean, you guys are assuming hunting as you do, but I mean, what if he just likes to just go shoot it at the range? Lots of options.
Yeah. There are. I mean, I was going to go with, since you didn't let me use it before, a bolt medallion. You think like, oh, that's not that old of a gun, or those are like, they're not new.
Quarter century.
Yeah.
I came across on a firearms retail site that I frequent a Browning BBR. This is the true precursor to the A-bolt.
Okay.
BBR, Browning bolt rifle.
Okay.
257 Roberts.
Oh,
that is one I have never seen, touched, or felt.
Any of the Browning, Browning BAR.
Yep.
Browning BPR.
Yep.
Browning BLR.
Yep.
Any of those old ones, very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I like all those. This one I
PPSH.
almost missed this one.
That would be fun.
Very intelligent gentleman here. Underscore
AK-47.
Mindrigger underscore. Why is Mark correct? The 300 WSM is the greatest cartridge of all time.
Oh, yeah. I saw that one on there, and the question didn't make any sense.
I'll let you guys explain.
The short answer is it's the only one he's got.
Oh, I've got bunches.
Do you?
Yeah. Not
Of?
bunches.
Name your centerfire cartridges.
Well, he finally got sponsored enough to get 3 ARs.
I do things in 300 wisdoms. The AR.
Yes.
I don't care about the quantity of chamberings you have.
No, just
I want to know the
chamberings.
individuals.
Please tell us. Enlighten us. 223, 300 wisdom.
Okay. 223, 300 wisdom, 6.5 Creedmoor, 30-06.
Cute.
I've owned a couple 243s.
Give me this.
Don't anymore. I don't know why the shaming.
He's like the guy that got.
You know what I think? Mindrigger's from Texas.
I think that
I have like 4 6.5 Creedmoors somehow.
Mark was like the kid in high
Just keep
school that
getting
got
sponsored.
the Pontiac Grand Prix or Grand Am GT, not the Grand Prix, Grand Am GT.
And wanted to race everybody.
Yeah, and he had the decals all over Grand Am.
Well, he told everybody he'd race them, but then
Never
when they
did.
would
Yeah,
challenge
dude,
him
my
to a
dad
race,
would
he'd be
kill
like,
me.
yeah, dude, I can't do
Dad
that.
would kill me. He
no.
checks the odometer.
Do you have any idea what the insurance premium is on this thing?
I actually had a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
You did not.
I didn't.
We were about to have some conversations.
Okay. That's what we got there.
I want the bottom Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Utah bison raft hunt trip.
Yes.
Let's go.
So bison raft hunt. The watercraft is critical here. Or Montana muley hunt via canoe. This is Air Hunger _RN.
Here's the deal.
I thought his username was Utah Bison Raft Trip.
No. So I tell you what, that bison hunt in particular, good buddy of mine, Taylor Albrecht Outfitting, arguably the #1 bison guide in the entirety of North America. That guy's good. He and I have talked about that hunt a couple of times. And he's like, man, it will be the most work we could ever think about doing. He explained to me the complexities. And he hunts bison in the Henrys. So he's killing them at like altitude, backing them rascals out. So he's good at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't know, man, that raft hunt, it'd be wild and fun, but it would be a grind. That sounds so cool. But then you said mule deer. And I don't know, I apply for a couple of bison tags and I have 18 years collectively between 2 in one state, and I have not drawn yet. And it's driving me up a wall. I really want a bison hunt. But my God, are mule deer incredible. I don't know how to pick.
I know how to pick. I'm going on #1, the critter. The bison. That draws me in.
Yeah, sure.
And the fact that it is a raft and not a canoe, because I am not a canoe guy. Very tippy.
Mark is looking for, well, now granted it wouldn't be with a bow, but he's looking for a boats and bows #2.
No, I am not actually.
I got a place to get a good raft, Mark.
Boats to go.
Boats to go.
Grant McCarran, have either of you ever thought of hunting in New Zealand? If not, why not?
You said either, so that's definitely a you guys question.
Short answer is yes.
Have you thought about it?
Nope.
Short answer is yes. Why not? Because I don't have enough money.
Yeah, I've thought about it a lot. It looks absolutely stunning out there. The country is phenomenal. Tar country looks a little spooky, but also very cool. Tikka T3 CTR.
Hell of a handle.
That's a hell of a handle. Buying secondhand firearms. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Jim, I'm going to direct this towards you.
Does that mean buying I guess secondhand firearms, you can just buy used firearms on Gunbroker or from a store.
That's so vanilla.
Yeah, it's so vanilla. You could buy them.
Where's the best place
the
the guy goes?
Where's the electricity come from?
Oh man, you get that little bump of adrenaline when you go on the what
Arms List.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Arms List. Is that even a thing anymore?
Oh yeah, you bet.
People still use it, huh?
Absolutely.
It's different now. I went on recently.
It's different.
You were
on
in the Wild West
I was
days.
on in the heyday.
There's some ads that pop up on Arms List now that ought to give you an idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
You were on there when the category was men seeking firearms.
I actually no, I wasn't. No, men seeking firearm minimum barrel length. So there, I was on when it was just regular folks buying and selling guns in bank parking lots, Menards parking lots, Walmart parking lots.
God, that's specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite firearms are secondhand firearms. And you know what the thing is about, like, with firearms, buying secondhand ones, you obviously look out for stuff like, is stuff all pitted and broken and things like that. But for the most part, like they last longer than do like vehicles.
Oh, you got to search to find a rust-free truck.
Yeah, you got to look forever. And then you're like, well, how is it maintained? There's so many little nooks and crannies and things about that. But for the most part, it's like, hey, man, as long as it doesn't have like pieces falling off or like stalagmites growing inside the barrel, it's probably going to be all right.
We can rebuild it.
Yeah.
Are you bringing your Barrel scope?
No, I don't own one because if I did, I'd never shoot any of my guns.
Yeah, you would never buy one, ever. Ryan, you've bought a number of secondhand firearms, many. Would you say you've bought more than you have bought new firearms?
Oh, undoubtedly.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Have you ever bought a secondhand firearm where you're like, I wholeheartedly wish I didn't do this?
Yeah.
Fair. But do you think that that's far less than you've bought secondhand firearms and been like, that was a great financial decision?
I really haven't lost it on a lot of guns. I mean, I think if you audited, like for me, everyone's an investment piece as well as a pleasure piece. So like I'm looking at a firearm that I'm never going to lose money on for the most part, right? Except like honestly putting together custom built rifles or customized rifles rather, you're losing money every time.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
Recipe.
You're building that rifle for a specific application purpose that's for you.
Yep.
Yeah. But just used guns in general. Every time I'm shopping for one, unless it's something that is like, I have to have it for some compulsory reason, I'm usually shopping for a good deal. Like I could go buy a 1903 Mannlicher right now. There's one for sale for $3,000 that is perfect. It's $3,000. In my opinion, that's about $1,100 too much for that gun. I'm not going to pull the trigger on it. I also have no qualms buying used firearms because I know what to look for, right? Like you're a car guy, you know what to look for on this model year of this make and this model. And if everything checks out mechanically and it's all sound, life is good. And you have an opportunity to have a nice bespoke piece, or bespoke to you or bespoke to industry, I guess, doesn't matter. And, yeah.
It's fun. It's more fun than buying a new gun.
Yeah, they're sterile.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay.
You buy a new gun, you pull it out of the plastic, out of the box. It's got like the oil on it, and you're like, all right.
I don't know. That's still cool. MC Ryan, how long have we been going for?
Hour 20, hour and a half.
Guys, we're going long.
Oh, this was a 10-minute talk?
Yeah.
At least.
This was only supposed to be while people were just driving back and forth between the in-laws.
Well, they definitely got the back and forth, depending on their
If
trip.
anything, we've actually given them a reason to stay in the car for a little bit longer.
And they may need to.
And they are going to appreciate that.
And if they do this right and they put it on speaker and it's loud enough, it seems like they're on an important business call.
Oh, yeah.
And so when wife looks out the door, like, what are you doing?
And when we say
We can just do one of these.
when we say something they disagree with, and they're like yelling at the radio in the car, and they're very animated, people are like, you know what? Look, let's leave them be.
Yeah,
Press pause.
This is serious. I can't believe he's working on Christmas Eve. Guy's just got an absolute motor.
We'll end with these two. And then I'll ask the question now. We got a lot of good questions here that we're not going to get to. We have a lot in here that actually probably require a little bit more explanation. That would just be a good podcast. So if you like this, let us know in the comments below, and we'll try and get to the rest of these things. As per usual, we were a little long-winded here. All right, Dominic _Nicholas _2021. Obviously an insane person. Spaghetti Shootout can't be done. I believe on the one I heard you were only going to do one more. I think we're doing.
I'd like to weigh in on this.
With multiple episodes.
This is the last and final season.
Let me tell you something.
Maybe.
Mark's riding a little high right now.
Said it in the intros, the last several intros. This is the last and final season.
I did. We are also
a democracy.
Beholden to the people. We owe them whatever they desire, and there was some uproar.
There's in a very good complimentary way. There have been some comments.
Is this season 3?
This is season 3, Ryan.
So I can remember during season 1. Maybe let's say Mark didn't win an episode. He'd be like, this stupid show, we're never doing this again. But Mark's on what we call a streak right now.
I'm on a spaghetti high.
He's trending up. He bought very low.
He did. He did. Everybody who invested in Mark in season 1 is finally seeing some returns.
And so
I can tell you this: they are selling right now.
This
is GameStop.
Yeah.
Mark is doing really good, and so his attitude towards this is going to change. How he walks out of
Have
this
I
room.
changed
Ryan just very subtly scooted this little chart in front of us.
What is that denoting?
This is your scores over some period of time. Since the beginning, Mark, we have...
Ryan, can you just...
and we can even see how many times you were muted in season 1. I forgot that was a thing. That was 3 years ago. I didn't even have a kid back then. Record for Mark: 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4. So you had 3 wins in season 1, and you had another 3 in season 2.
Okay.
You've actually had 2 in season 3. So you're
Look at your average for season 3, Mark.
That's out of course, 23 episodes. So
look at your season 3.
I don't did you hear what I said? I wasn't advocating for. I'm trying to get out of this season.
No, I absolutely heard that. That's something that I heard.
We didn't think America's Next Top Model would keep going, but here we are. We're still voting. Okay. I want to see you on that runway.
I'm going to follow that one with Norwegian Gunslinger, another really good handle. I like that.
That's the second from Norwegian Gunslinger today.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the... Yeah, you're right. No wonder that sounded familiar.
Yep.
Love the podcast. Keep on arguing.
That's it.
You guys, I don't like the negativity.
I love Norwegian Gunslinger for that very bit alone.
He likes the drama.
I love arguing with you guys.
I don't.
I know you don't.
My favorite part is Mark's barometer or temperature. What's thermometer?
Mm-hmm.
That's what measures temperature.
Last I checked.
Post-production when he's hot.
Yeah. When we've gotten under his skin a little bit, and he
just storms off. He's got his coffee cup in hand. Yeah, his vest is all awry. And you know what? I don't care.
His puffy is a little deflated.
I don't care. You know what? You made me feel like crap.
Why do you take pleasure in agitating me?
Honestly,
why does that bring you joy?
Ask
yourself that question. Take a look inward.
Yeah,
why do people take pleasure in pretending to throw the ball to their dog and then watching them chase something that never got thrown?
That is horrible.
Why do people take pleasure in that, Mark?
Because they're sick.
How's a rainbow made?
I am not a perfect person.
Do you trick?
You can't do that.
Trick your dog?
I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying some people think that's funny, and maybe I have. Okay, maybe sometimes it's like, oh, look at the dog. They thought I threw it. And I do throw it.
Oh, my gosh.
Mark, you don't have to take things so personally.
How can I not? They're personal attacks.
I want you to think about that Beatles song, Hey Jude.
Oh, you said it, not me.
That is a personal attack.
Take a sad song and make it better.
If that gets stuck in my head again, ever in my life, I've talked about this before. That ruined an entire day of deer hunting for me.
I
don't like the Beatles. There, I said it. It's out there. I don't really like any of their songs. Comment below. All right.
I don't
Gentlemen,
have any
thank
issue
you
with
for joining me.
No argument.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Merry Christmas Eve. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Hopefully, maybe, like we said, maybe you got to stay in the car just a little bit longer.
Eventually. Sorry.
You got to go back in, brave it. I mean, actually,
crack a cold one.
Us. We're acting like we hate Christmas. Ryan's the one that hates Christmas.
Oh God, Mark.
That's true. There was a question in here. Why does Ryan hate Christmas and everybody who enjoys Christmas? And that was from Trent Brenny, and we didn't ask any.
Trent.
We did. Well, on the first page, we asked one of his.
Did we?
Trent.
He wants to know why. I didn't ask that. You want to know why? Because I know something happened, and I don't think this public forum is the place to bring it up.
I'm telling you right now, nothing happened. Not a thing.
You've pushed it that far down.
It's so deep.
And that you don't even know
Mark,
what it was.
you know I'm the kind of mind flayer that can go into your inner psyche and pull it out. Anything I want at any point in time.
We're gonna pull it straight out of you.
You don't control me anymore.
Secondly, I listen to a lot of Tool, so I'm very in touch with every part of my brain.
Oh, that's where the anger comes from.
Yeah. Oh, I listen to this obscure, weird screamo band, so I'm really smart. That's
comment
Ryan's,
below.
That's always Ryan's. His idealism is just that I'm smarter than you because my music screams more than yours.
Yeah, let me explain to you why this Jackson Pollock painting is so awesome.
Yeah.
He's upset. All right. Happy holidays. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Merry Christmas.
Comment below if you want us to get to the rest of these. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.